Yo people, Gene here with Deborah Elite Fitness. Gonna do a Q&A today. So I asked my Instagram followers to send me some questions that they may have about my competitive journey, or just me as a person, just to get to know me a little bit better. I got a decent response. I actually will only be answering 10 of those questions today. I'll make a part 2 basically. Question number 1. What are your best tips for natural bodybuilders to put on size? So, when I started lifting, it was about 4 years ago. Competed last year, 2019. Prep obviously began in 2019. The first 2 years leading up to the show, I was lifting heavy. I'm naturally strong anyway, so I was lifting really heavy relative to me anyway. I was eating consistently and getting my meals in, but I didn't know much about nutrition, so my protein was really dominant within my diet. This off season, since competing, since gaining a lot more knowledge through prep, through the people around me, my coach, so on and so forth, basically I realized that carbs are my best friend when it comes to growing. Carbs are your best friend when trying to retain muscle. Carbs are great, to be honest. I've had a really high carb diet. Again, relative to me, it's gonna differ for every person because size, shape, height, metabolism, all sorts. But number 1 would be carbs. Number 2 would be compound movements. Compound movements, i.e. for me specifically, deadlifts. I don't back squat, but I do front squat. So squats in general, if you can get your squats in, make sure you're getting your squats in. Bench press, I don't free weight bench press much. I'm not gonna lie, I do Smith machine a lot. A lot of the time I train on my own and I don't really have anyone to spot me, so I can't push myself fully to failure on a free weight bench press the way I would like. So a Smith machine basically helps me do that. But bench press, basically the simple movements, the ones that are grueling and after about 8 reps you really don't want to do anymore if you're truly pushing yourself, they're the movements you really need in your programs, no matter what your split is. The third is consistency. So consistency with everything. Consistency with your diet, consistency with your training, consistency within your fitness journey. Not everyone wants to compete. Not everyone on my channel that subscribes or watches my videos probably want to compete. They probably just want a more in-depth knowledge of what it's about, but they just want to live a healthy lifestyle. So consistency regardless, whether you're competing and going on stage, whether you're just trying to be big, whether you're just trying to be slim, whether you're trying to just however you're trying to reach your fitness goals, you basically just need consistency. 3 C's is what I've been told. So I did not coin that. I've stolen that from Vicky McCann and Dave K and my coach Opio, and it's been passed down to me through these people and through conversations with these guys, and I would not have had such a successful off season if I didn't know that. So the 3 C's: consistency, compounds, and carbs. Almost forgot. Yeah, so yeah, that'll be it. Question number 2: how long was your prep from the off season? So my prep was 26 weeks. Generally with natural bodybuilders, if you want to come in great condition and you're somebody who isn't always in great condition on your off season, you don't stay with a relatively low body fat percentage, so I would say anything around 10 and below, you're probably almost definitely looking at 20 plus weeks of prep to make sure you're fully dialed in to your best. That's just a guess. People's metabolism's different, their bodies work differently. The different methods in which you prep will maybe make it quicker or longer. It just depends. But generally speaking, it's going to be a long prep. 26 weeks, I'd say, is fairly average, not particularly long when I discuss it with the other people I know who compete. It was meant to be about 29 to 30 because I cut my season short. I did really well really early on. I just decided that pushing further, I think I would have been more miserable than doing it because I wanted to. It would have been more doing it because I already said I would, so I'm going to do it anyway. And I'd say anything between 25 and 30 weeks, generally speaking, is a good amount of time to prep. But yeah, mine was 26 weeks. What is your most improved body part this off season? I would say it'll be my back. It's definitely my back. My back is the most improved body part I have this year. My first British finals, I won my class middleweights and went into the overall. the feedback I got after the overall was that my lower back in particular was a bit light. So if I brought that up, then I would have been a little bit more competitive in the overall. Basically, my whole off season this year has been focused around getting a bigger back. Not to say that I've neglected anything else, but that in particular, my whole program is based around being fresh leading up to back day. It's definitely worked. My back has definitely improved. I can see it now when I've got layers and layers of fat on me. I'm not even near contest ready. So, and I can see the muscle poking through already. So when I shred down, hopefully I look like a completely different person than I did last year in a positive sense. So yeah, definitely my back. Question number 4. What do you like and dislike about bodybuilding? I like the fact it's 24/7. It's all that's on your mind. It's what everything that you do, if you want to be really good at it and you really want to make it far as an elite natural bodybuilder or a bodybuilder enhanced or otherwise, you need to live it every day. In my personal opinion, I like the aspect that it's something that I can put my all into, and it always matters. What I do always matters. And yes, you can relax. Yes, I relax. Yes, I have cheat meals, blah, 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 blah. But I like that it's not switch off and then switch on and then switch off and then switch on. I like the fact that it's constantly there. That's just me. It might sound a bit weird, but I just love how that, I just love it. What do I dislike? On the flip side of that coin, actually. So I like the fact of this 24/7, but the fact is 24/7 for my family and friends, especially on prep, it's tough because my wife is gonna want me to just be G. And there are times I will just be a normal person who forgets about bodybuilding, but I'm talking a matter of hours, like until we're finished doing what we're doing, and then suddenly it's like, cool, I need to get my meals in again, I need to make sure I'm structuring my training properly, I need to make sure I'm doing this, I make sure I'm doing that, make sure I'm getting sleep. It's full on. So I would say that my major dislike is the fact that maybe since I've been doing this, my wife hasn't been able to just be with a normal person. That sounds a bit extreme. You know what I mean? Just somebody who just lives and just, you know, eats when they want and chills when they want. That's probably my main dislike about it. Question number 5. Where do you want to be in the next 5 years? I'm going to assume you mean fitness wise, but I will also answer my personal stuff as well, because I think it's important that you guys know a bit more about me and who I am. In terms of bodybuilding, I'm a pro card with the BMBF. I'm a pro card potentially with the WMBF. If I can be a fitness influence on social media, start making money from YouTube, all that kind of stuff. Things I enjoy doing, things I like doing, that I could potentially be paid for, basically. That's the goal. So I can make a living out of doing what I actually like doing. Personally, kids, I guess. I've got, well, I'm married already. Yeah, almost got our first mortgage. So I'd say kids when it comes to the personal stuff away from bodybuilding. Yes, I am a normal person who does talk about stuff other than bodybuilding. Question number 6. Staying natty or going enhanced to be Brion 2.0? I'm just going to be honest, short term and long term, I see myself staying natural. I've seen the progress I've made in 4 years. One of those years were prepping and competing, so that wasn't even muscle growth phase. So 3 years have been dedicated to growing muscle, and I'm twice the size, if not 3 times the size I was when I started. I feel like naturally I have so much to give, and I just feel like it's not something I'm willing to do. I'm really health conscious anyway, away from like being, you know, eat right and this and that and this and that. I'm really health conscious anyway, so I've never smoked. I'm scared of all of that stuff. I don't even like being around people who smoke and secondhand smoke and all that stuff. I'm really like hypochondriac when it comes to that stuff. So messing around with steroids for me is an absolute no-go. It's just not something that I'm even brave enough to get into, let alone something that I feel like I need to do to be successful within fitness, to make the money I need to make, to be the influence I need to be, to encourage people to compete in and to look after themselves. I don't feel like I need to be enhanced in order to do those things, so it's just not something I feel like I'm gonna do now. Oh, good exercises for quads if leg extensions are a no-go. This person's asked this because they've just had a really bad injury on their leg, I believe, playing football. He is a bodybuilder. He is a competitive bodybuilder, really good one. Leg press worked for me. So I used to play football, semi-professional football, before I started competing. I tore my groin one year. It took me about 6 months to rehab it to a point where I could play. I tore cartilage on both sides of my right knee. When I got into the gym and I finally was fit enough to start pressing and moving weight on my legs, my right one was significantly smaller than my left. I was just doing a lot of single leg leg press. I was doing leg extensions as well, but single leg press was like the staple movement for the mass, for building mass. I'd say I have really good legs. I'd say they're probably one of my more notable body parts, and I've done it through leg pressing. I don't back squat because I've got crappy shoulders, and to be honest, I'm just lazy with physiotherapy. I really need to go get them looked after, because then I'll be able to back squat. It's not like I've done anything terrible to my shoulders, I'm just really tight. So yeah, I would say leg press for me. Next question, what are your goals for next year? My goals for next year: repeat as middleweight champion at the British finals, earn my pro card, compete next to my coach if he decides to compete at the Worlds as a professional. That would be a dream year for me for next year. Next question, do you get nervous before going out on stage? So I've competed at 3 shows. 3 shows I did last year. It was meant to be 4, but I cut my season short. My first show, I was nervous leading up because I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know the quality of the people. I don't know if everyone's like this. I don't quite have bigorexia, but I look at myself in the mirror and I don't think I look as good as I actually do. Leading up to the show, I was like, oh, what if everyone's like way bigger than me? I'm only 5'6", so what if everyone's really tall and really just filled out and I just look short and skinny in the corner? So I was nervous going to the actual show. I was nervous in the back room, and then I started to pump up. Then my coach told me to take off my hoodie and pump up, look at myself in the mirror, see what I look like. And I looked at the other guys pumping up and I was like, I'm not nervous anymore. No disrespect to them, not that I'm better than them or whatever, but I was like, I'm amongst people who are in and around the same body type as me, the same quality as me. So I didn't feel out of place anymore. Then it just came down to, right, I'm gonna go out there and just show people what I've got and see if the judges like it. That was it. My next 2 shows, no nerves at all. No nerves at all. Obviously I did really well in my first show, so no nerves at all. British finals, no nerves at all. Just eager to go out there and just show what I had, basically. That was it. Next question. What did you find the most challenging about getting on stage? From prep to the show. Prep is the hardest thing. Prep is the hardest thing. I would believe that anybody who's competed, even if you're a veteran professional, prep is the hardest thing. I think anyone who's competed would agree. Prep is horrible. It tests you mentally more than anything else. Obviously you're hungry most of the time, leading up to the end, because your body's really low body fat. It's past your natural body composition, so you're like, your body's basically screaming at you the whole time going, listen, you need food, you need to do more, you need to eat more, you need more meat on your bones. Prep tests you, it makes you feel shit at times. Not all the time. You don't have to suffer all the time. There will be days that are worse than others, obviously, but it's not great. Other than that, if you're somebody who's decided to compete, I would believe that you may be a bit nervous to go on stage, but I would believe that you're more excited than nervous to go and show people how good you look. So for me anyway, it was prep. Prep was the hardest thing for me. Last question, I've deliberately left it till last, is if you could give any advice to beginners, what would it be? My advice to beginners is the same advice that I reflected on once my first season had ended, and that was compete when I was ready. I'd been training 2 years before I began prep. I've only been training 4 years in total now, and end of November was 4 years of training since I stopped playing football. My 3rd year of those 4 years I was competing, obviously, last year. This year is my first off season after competing. My first 2 years, I started as a skinny footballer. I was a winger, so it was all about speed, so I was really slim, and basically started packing on muscle to the point where I had people messaging me going, I saw you the other day, are you on steroids, sort of thing, because I was growing so rapidly. I had people in the gym, PTs, people who also competed, that were looking at me going, yo, you should compete, you look quality, like, you're getting big, every time I see you, you're bigger, you should compete. I took their advice and I started to think more and more, right, if I'm going to compete soon, then I need to start looking at my physique in a more critical way and start really building what needs to be built before I stand on stage. So the following maybe 6 months before I actually ended up prepping, it was more methodical. It was like, right, I need to start doing these certain movements to build this up. I can stop doing that as intensely now because that seems to be progressing further, than other parts of my body. So I need to make sure that everything is kind of put together the right way so that I look in proportion. These are my thoughts going into my first year. So long story short, I would say make sure you're ready, but balance that with, you know, confidence. Don't push that back 3, 4, 5 years till you finally step on stage because you feel like, oh, I'm not ready. You don't know. You might surprise yourself. I definitely surprised myself. I went to my first show, did really well the rest of the season. I didn't go to any show believing that I would do particularly well. I didn't think I'd win. I definitely didn't think I would win. Like I said, I'm a shorter guy, I'm 5'6". I didn't think I was particularly that muscular. I had guys around me telling me I was big, but obviously you have that amount of body fat on you as well. You don't really know what you're going to look like when you shred down. I get advice from a coach. Basically ask them, what do you think of me? They'll tell you, right, I think you're good enough. When I spoke to my coach, he said, listen, you are very good. You're big. You're trust me, you'll do very well. I was like, all right, if he says that, maybe I'll try it. Did I believe him? No. I believed I was clearly okay. I was at least okay, which was good enough for me to dip a toe. I didn't believe I would do as well as he said I would do. So yeah, basically, just you know, dip a toe. Don't wait too long, but compete when you're finally ready. Compete when you're ready and you look at yourself and go, right, I'm ready. I feel like I'm ready. Alright guys, well, I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, I have more very good questions, so I'm going to post a second video probably week after next. There will be a training video next week. I'm going to post a training video of myself. This will be the first one I've actually posted on my channel, and it's my channel. Thank you to everybody who's liked, subscribed, commented, shared with friends. I really appreciate the support. Just keep it up, and I'm going to keep up trying to put out good content that you guys hopefully enjoy and is helpful for the beginners and helpful for people trying to compete and get into bodybuilding and know more about bodybuilding. So yeah, if you like this video, like, subscribe, share with friends, comment below if you have any questions for me, or go to my Instagram @GeneDebreo and DM me, ask me questions, give me a follow. I do post content on there of short training clips, certain movements, and explain why I do certain movements and that kind of thing. You can follow my journey for prep. I will be starting prep soon for next year. So yeah, make sure you subscribe so you can see all of that. Thank you. See you guys later.